Social emotional development includes the child's experience, expression, and management of emotions, as well as the ability to establish positive and rewarding relationships with others. It includes both intrapersonal and interpersonal processes, how one feels about oneself and in a relationship to others. Loving relationships provide young children a sense of comfort, safety, confidence, and encouragement. They teach young children how to form friendships, communicate emotions, and deal with challenges. Strong, positive relationships also help children develop trust, empathy, compassion, and a sense of right and wrong. Beginning at birth, young children rapidly develop their abilities to experience and express different emotions, as well as their capacity to cope with and manage a variety of feelings. Developing social emotional skills allows children to learn from others, develop relationships with others, and express feelings and emotions. The development of these skills unfolds naturally. Over the course of the first year, the most important task for babies is to develop a secure attachment to their caregivers. We will go into much greater depth on this concept of attachment later on because the quality of a child's attachment to her primary caregivers has such a significant effect on her long-term development. Starting from birth, babies are learning who they are by how they are treated. Through everyday interactions, parents, relatives, and caregivers send babies messages such as, "You're clever," "You're good at figuring things out," "You're loved," "You make me laugh," "I enjoy being with you." These messages shape a baby's self-esteem. In the first year, babies are developing a recognition of themselves as an individual, as separate from their caregivers. They begin to express a variety of emotions and share in emotional experiences with others. The key milestones during this age range include the ability to read and respond to adult cues and signals, use simple gestures to start or reciprocate interactions, seek and develop relationships with one particular adult, express distress and other negative emotions when separated from primary caregivers, demonstrate interest in others, and influence the reactions and behaviors of others. The baby's brain has been developing for many months by the time she is born, so at birth, she is prepared to express some basic emotions, especially those associated with specific needs. Several emotion-related brain structures are already developed and active, such as the amygdala and other structures of the limbic system. The brain also matures during the first year in ways that prepare the baby for focused, social interaction, such as attention networks that enable the child to focus on a partner. Growth in the cerebellum, which increases control of movements of the head and arms that the baby will use when interacting with another person, and development of the hippocampus, which contributes to recognition memory and the child's ability to differentiate between different social partners. Young toddlers are starting to develop a growing awareness that they are separate and independent from others. This new knowledge helps them understand that other people have thoughts and feelings that may be different from their own, and helps children begin to develop empathy, the ability to recognize the emotions and feelings of others, to imagine how someone else is feeling, and respond sensitively. Young toddlers are also becoming more and more interested in their peers, though at this age their play is more parallel or side by side than interactive. Children will begin to play more interactively with peers starting at about 24 to 30 months old. This growing awareness that they are separate from others also leads to behaviors that declare their independence, such as starting to protest or even say no when they don't get their own way. While challenging to caregivers, this is a very normal part of development and a sign of a child's growing sense of self. The baby's brain is growing significantly during the second year. One of its achievements is easily apparent. growth in language skills due to development of the language-related regions of the temporal lobe, particularly the increase in vocabulary from the first to the second birthday and beyond. Growth in the interconnections between different brain regions during this year may also contribute to the emergence of more complex emotions and the development of self-awareness. During the second year, children are gaining many new skills that support their social emotional development, including the ability to engage with others through complex back and forth interactions, feel secure to explore independently, begin taking turns with support from adult caregivers. Recognize self in the mirror or a picture and refer to self by name. Become more independent, move farther away from caregivers to explore. Cooperate by helping to put things away. Become angry if activities are interrupted or if they don't get their way. Respond to simple commands by an adult. Begin to realize that they can't have everything their own way. Hit, bite, or fight over a toy. Imitate adult behaviors in play. Show a complex range of emotional expressions. Begin moving from parallel, side by side, to more interactive play as they near 24 months old, and ask for what they want with gestures, sounds, or words. 2-year-olds growing independence, they're understanding that they are fully separate beings with their own thoughts and feelings separate from those of others, and their ability to communicate with words all mean that you may hear a lot of mine, no, or I do it. Starting around 2 years old, children also begin to play more independently with their peers, talking with each other about what they are doing together and sharing ideas. For example, about how to build that tower or what kind of food their dinosaurs want to eat. You will also see a big increase in pretend play, which shows that children are reaching a critical social, emotional, and cognitive milestone, the development of symbolic thinking. Children can now use their imaginations and develop their own ideas. Pretend play builds language, thinking, and social skills when children take on roles and develop their own ideas and stories. At the same time, conflicts with peers are to be expected. Children this age are still largely driven by their feelings and desires. They want what they want when they want it. They need support to learn to take turns and tune into others' feelings. Children develop more advanced social play skills, such as sharing and turn-taking without the support of adults, between 3 and 5 years old. Children between 2 to 3 years old are typically driven by their emotions. They have difficulty with self-control, waiting, and managing their emotions because a part of their brain that helps children exert self-control, the prefrontal cortex, is still developing. The parts of the brain that process emotions, such as the limbic system, are more fully developed in children at this stage. This difference in areas of the brain development is why we see children with little self-control and big emotions. The prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that handles careful planning and decision-making. It helps us think about and control our emotions, rationally weighing options and consequences. For example, a 2-year-old may still hit another child who grabs a toy from her. But at 3.5 or 4 years old, a child is much more likely to start to raise up his hand, but then stop himself and instead shout, "Give it back!" The prefrontal cortex is just beginning to develop and will develop over the next 20 years. It's the last part of the brain to fully mature. At 24 to 36 months old, this part of the brain cannot yet control strong impulses and emotions very well, which can lead to the types of behaviors you find most challenging. Aggression, frustration, whining, clinging, possessiveness, extreme emotional shifts, and even hitting or biting. are normal behaviors for this stage of development. It is healthy and expected that children will experience a range of positive and negative emotions. Remember that it's not the feeling that's the problem. It's the way that toddlers express their feelings that could be problematic. The focus at this stage is on helping children learn to manage their range of emotions in healthy ways, such as by using words instead of their bodies, like hitting, to express themselves. In fact, young children's emotional shifts and intensity are related to their gaining a stronger sense of self. They understand that they are separate individuals with their own thoughts and feelings, which leads to their desire to do tasks for themselves and to, in general, exert control over their world, including the people in it. Key skills children develop between 24 and 36 months old include the ability to more strongly distinguish self as a separate person, become aware of gender differences, separate more easily in familiar surroundings, though they may need help transitioning to new situations, feel strongly possessive of loved ones, feel frustration, and have tantrums that peak between 24 and 30 months old. Enjoy a wider range of relationships. Be eager to meet new people and begin to obey simple rules. At this stage, they may play simple games, play more cooperatively with peers, communicate about experiences and the thoughts and feelings of others, share their own ideas, and complete complex tasks independently, and share and exchange materials and objects with others. From 3 to 5 years old, the growth in the prefrontal cortex allows children to begin to exert greater self-control and to engage their executive functions, which are a set of cognitive skills that control impulses and filter out distractions. Executive functions allow children to focus their attention, organize lots of information, put a plan into action, and also have a backup plan if necessary. This ability for greater self-control, emotional regulation, and executive functioning allows children to play more collaboratively with peers with less guidance from adults. They can develop complex stories with peers that have a beginning, middle, and end. They can also share ideas and negotiate roles, such as who will be the waiter and who will be the customer. However, at the same time, because maturation of the prefrontal cortex still has a long way to go, as noted previously, it continues to develop for 20 years, self-control is still limited at these ages. So it is typical to see children struggling to manage their emotions, especially in social situations. Preschoolers' self-concepts are also developing rapidly due to their growing independence and ability to do things for themselves, and their increasing ability to reflect and reason. They are very aware of how others see them and are able to compare themselves to others. Young children from 36 to 60 months begin to solve more complex problems, play more complex games, and engage in collaborative pretend play with others. They describe their own feelings and wants, respond to others' emotional needs, comfort others to help them feel better. They use greater impulse control, use words to express complex feelings, and regulate attention, thoughts, and feelings with less support from an adult. What can caregivers do to help children develop social emotional skills? Some examples include picking up on and responding sensitively to babies' cues, engaging in lots of back and forth interactions with babies, providing a safe and secure environment, following children's lead, helping children manage their emotions effectively, staying calm when children are having meltdowns or are acting out aggressively, and encouraging peer interaction based on children's abilities. Here are more examples for how you can help children develop important social, emotional skills.
Meet Jeff and Karen, parents of Jessica. They have big dreams for her. Like most parents, they want her to be confident, kind, and well-behaved. They also want her to be a good daughter, a loyal friend, and a successful student. They have been nurturing these critical qualities since Jessica was a tiny baby. In the loving way they respond to her, read her cues, and make her feel loved and important through their everyday interactions. Starting from birth, babies learn about themselves by how they are treated. Through daily interactions, parents, relatives, and caregivers send babies messages like, "You're clever," "You're capable," "You're loved," "I enjoy being with you." These everyday moments provide many opportunities for nurturing children's positive sense of themselves and strengthening the parent-child bond. Starting from birth, babies learn about themselves by how they are treated. Through daily interactions, parents, relatives, and caregivers send babies messages like, "You're clever," "You're capable," "You're loved," "I enjoy being with you." These everyday moments provide many opportunities for nurturing children's positive sense of themselves and strengthening the parent-child bond. Reading and responding sensitively to babies' cues lets them know that they can trust another person will be there when needed to keep them safe and meet their needs. This is the foundation for healthy social emotional development. Another way you nurture healthy social emotional development is by being there for your baby, staying calm and comforting him when he is fussy, which is a normal part of the first year. This is the way babies learn to trust. Over time, the experience of being cared for and soothed helps young children learn to soothe themselves, a vital skill called self-regulation. Establishing routines for bedtimes and mealtimes contributes to this. Babies feel safe and secure when they know what to expect. As children enter the second year, they become more aware that they are separate beings with their own thoughts and feelings. As a result, they begin to assert their independence, an important social emotional milestone. For example, they may venture further out to explore. When you encourage your toddler's efforts, even if it takes more time and patience, you are nurturing her confidence. During the second year, children are beginning the process of managing their strong feelings. You help your child by offering acceptable ways to express emotions, like ripping newspaper, stomping their feet, or throwing a foam ball or some other vigorous physical activity. Learning to express feelings in appropriate ways is the first early step towards self-control. During the second year, toddlers are also becoming more interested in their peers, though they mostly play near them, not with them. Nurture these early social skills by modeling turn-taking and sharing. Between ages 2 and 3, interactive play with friends starts taking off. This provides toddlers with lots of practice learning to share, resolve conflicts, and experience the joy of friendship. 2-year-olds are also becoming more and more aware that other people have their own thoughts and feelings, which leads to the development of empathy. Empathy is the ability to imagine how someone else is feeling, a critical skill for building relationships throughout life. How do you nurture empathy? By showing empathy. For example, comforting your child when he is upset. You can also point out how others are feeling, like explaining that a boy is crying because he scraped his knee. Older toddlers are also becoming better able to express and recognize feelings. You help with this skill by naming the emotions they experience and see others expressing. You matter. The ingredients for building a strong foundation of social and emotional skills in the first 3 years are trust, consistency, and loving interactions, all experiences you provide. Your caring responses help your child develop self-confidence, establish friendships, and begin developing self-control. When it comes to raising a loving, confident child, remember that you make the difference.